Hello.
Sorry, it
Yes.
takes a while.
No,
Yes.
it's okay. It always happens. So I hope that we will have good connection and everything will go smoothly today.
Yeah, me
So
too.
yes, we 1 week ago, that we had a very good chat. I think I really enjoyed.
We did,
You
yeah.
talked, yes, yes, and something happened. All this that connection technical problems. Yes, typical excuse. You can find it, use
Yeah.
it for everything. Technical
No.
excuses. So if we, by the way, in the previous our conversation, I was in Istanbul. Now I'm in London. So I
Hello.
about 15 degrees below, a little bit cold, chilly. But
Yeah.
no, but today was a fantastic day. Really, today is
Okay.
even more
I'm in
beautiful than
Scotland, a little
Istanbul.
bit cooler.
Yes. So if I can remember correctly, that's we were replying a question about how we can ensure that it's a sustainable when we read that it's sustainable, and you were giving answer, and actually you told so many things about it, and I wanted to continue from there because I
Okay.
know that you have a new collection for
Yes.
2021.
Yes,
So
we
now
do. I launched it since.
yes, I checked your launch, I checked your videos. So now I'm asking that question:
Thank you.
why your collection is sustainable? Now this is the big question.
Oh, it took us a long time, I have to say, to get to this stage where we can launch this collection, a sustainable collection. Although as I said to you before, I don't like to use that word so much anymore because it has been a little bit abused.
Yes,
And the
definitely.
reason why we are sustainable, well, it's for a number of reasons. First of all, we start, as I said to you before, and hopefully we'll be able to start have one step even before. We start with yarn. We need to make sure that the fabric, all our clothing is made from a yarn that is sustainably made. So, for example, we use recycled polyester, recycled plastic. We use recycled clothing, and that could be cotton, that could be wool. We also use natural material, linen, which is most sustainable one because it's a type of a plant that grows, actually reducing CO2 emission. So and also we trying to tap into natural innovation. For example, at the moment we haven't actually used that just as yet. But for example, one of the part of our collection now is industrial wood waste. So one of our new dresses is made out of beautiful industrial waste, and you can't believe
Really?
how. So yeah, that's an innovation. So yes, yes,
Yes, that's really sounds
that's
interesting.
not, yeah. So um, as I think I said to you before, if you want to be sustainable, it's actually getting easier and easier. A year ago, it was a complex situation, but the chain itself, people attitudes are changing, and when you go to a suppliers that provide you with yarn, they're now looking what sort of a material they need to outsource to be able to make a yarn for us. So the chain starts pretty much in the field.
Yes.
So we're talking currently, there is a new project whereby you can actually access yarn from particular field where, for example, cotton or hemp is grown. So you know who the workers are. So you need to start with basics. You need to go to beginnings, quite
Yes.
honestly. But then once you make yarn, you make your fabric. Then obviously that fabric needs to be printed or colored. So we make sure that our colors are not chemicals that will pollute. We try to use as much as natural fabric and without bleaching, so it doesn't damage the soil. Most of we use also natural leather because there's so much of it. It's kind of like a waste, but we make sure that when it's treated, it doesn't use chemicals, and that obviously uses a natural color as for dyeing. So anything that is natural, that is wasted, kind of a byproduct. People, when they think about sustainability, they often quite connect, oh, it has to be a vegan leather. I agree, that's a future, and hopefully we will. But unfortunately, the world's not vegan, so there is so much
Yes.
waste, and we can't just. We need to think about that, and we need to use it what's here in front of us right now. What we're going to do is in 10 years' time, it's a different story, but I'm talking now. We need to make small steps now. And then the story doesn't end. No, you make your garments, your lovely ladies, the seamstresses, they all know. Then that needs to be transported somehow, that it needs to be packaged and send it to a customer. So obviously, everything we make is made as close as possible to UK. We make quite lots of things here in UK. However, not everything's possible because lots of materials needs to be made in the factories abroad, and we're trying to use Europe. And now we're starting to outsource nice materials from Turkey, and that cannot. These are distances in relative terms quite close. So trying to not to use those heavy oil tankers. So the CO2 emission needs to be as low as possible. And then again, as I said, the packaging needs to be as little as possible. We have a new boxes that don't need to use any plastic bags or even so it's just literally recycled cardboard that can be sent to customers. So every single thing needs to be and then I said, buy less, but buy better quality. For example, we produced a beautiful leather skirts from, or even trousers. They're really, really beautiful. It fits so well. This is the item that can last you for 10 years. Yes, it's not cheap. I completely agree, but this is your investment. First of all, leathers, obviously, it's a waste. Second of all, it's treated, no chemical treatments used, and coloring is vegetable dye. So as I said, so not only you're investing in a future, you're not polluting a present. So that's kind of the way we kind of looked at things. And as I said, our beautiful dresses, they're so soft, they're beautiful. And then in the end, all these products can be composted, disposed or shared.
Yes. Actually, I had some time to review your products, and you had prepared so lovely videos. And now, I think it was in Lunan Bay.
Yes.
Yes, it's some very nice beach. Really,
Yes. It's
democratic. I liked it, and I liked it.
Yeah.
Today, I listened to a very good webinar again. I said, Pure London didn't start, but for today and tomorrow there is some events, and I watched. There's the Kerry Bennington, the conscious fashion campaign. Was one of the speakers in the last webinar, and she said something very, very important for me. She said that we cannot say that it is 100% we are sustainable, because this is a way we are going from that how was it 20 years ago, now how it's now, how it will be 20 years ago, and how it will continue. So for example, if you look at, it's not possible to say that I am not doing anything bad for nature, but we are trying, and you are doing it better and better and better and better. This is something like that. Because as you said, there are so many parameters. Now you mentioned many parameters: packaging, dyeing, fabrics, and transportation. Everything you need to consider, and everything you need to do one by one. And it's for sure that what you have done can be done better in the 5 years later. That will be a better solution.
Absolutely.
This is a never-ending story. So sometimes I know that in some of the production, because maybe this sustainability word become very old in a very short time. Really, it was a very new word time. So it's a very old word. Sustainable, everything is sustainable, and it's become some very familiar word for our mouth, and everybody's mentioning, spelling this word. So it became old in the ears. So to feel it, we need to do the more, and the more. And it is continuing. It's a never-ending story. And I was really agreeing Carrie's this point of view. There won't be 100% sustainable, because it is something going, and it will be better in the. I don't know. 10 years later, what we'll be talking about is the question.
I hope so.
Really.
I hope so. 10 years goes very quickly, I have to say. Yes. But to be honest, in 1 year, it's been a huge change. And you're absolutely right what people are saying. I can't change everything overnight. That's absolutely true. The industry will not change overnight, but we need to start now.
Agree.
And every person counts. As I said, every person can make a difference, and that can translate, and that can snowball, and the change can be faster. I'm not saying go and dump everything. I'm not saying change or in terms of like, I've got a clothes, I'm going to just think about it in a rational way. What what next steps I'm going to make towards, how do I change things? Because you as a buyer have a power to decide what you're buying. And that will sometimes those big brands force to change their habits and what their offering is. So I said, buy better, don't buy less. And
Yes.
as I said, by item, I still wear clothes that I bought personally 10 maybe 15 years ago, maybe even more. And as I said, if you buy one of the items that we have produced, because we took so much care, it will last you. In particularly, as I said, certain items can last you for over 10 years. And what we call it a timeless collection, which means it doesn't follow the trend. For me, it's
Yes.
not about trend, it's about style. And then clothes we do make, you can style it and it can look different with every person. So so this sort of things, it's all about the details.
Yes.
So yeah, new collection, new
But
beginning.
yes,
Yeah,
and
it's
I will
scary.
say
Yeah,
something. One thing that I liked about it, you said you inspired about the coast of Scotland. So
yes,
it is even something precious because you are brand of that area and you got your inspiration from that area. So it is
yeah,
something. I think it's a part of being local because
yes,
you become
yeah,
unique because
yeah.
that's something very special. So a part of it, there's the concept you have. I think that with sustainability, it's not a limitation of aesthetics, where aesthetics meets with sustainability. And I think let's talk about this because there was in the very beginning of the sustainability story, people were thinking that if it's sustainable, it's a boring style,
It is, yeah. And remember, it
undyed.
used to be just a jute bag.
Yes, a
Yeah,
cotton,
yeah,
undyed cotton. That's
yeah.
only color. Yes, that's not it. No,
No, no,
let's
no. The
talk about.
store, the sustainability and aesthetics as big as your own personal imagination. You can do wherever you like. As when you look at, for example, into sustainable fabric, we have created out of hay. We have created lamps. See, so that's a sustainable. So if you said to someone, right, I'm going to make a bag out of dried petals. So this is something we're kind of working on. Then we are now developing and speaking with the company the potato skin waste from the chips company, frozen chips, to make a fabric. So it's kind of all sorts of things, creativity, innovation come
Yes.
together, and then you come and that material has a different. That material has a different kind of texture, it behaves in different way, and then you need to find what actually can I use this particular either fabric or particular material, what can I use it for? And as I said to you, suddenly you have a technology now, you can cut stones so thin, thereby we're going to try to make certain garments or certain objects that could be made out of stone because we can bend it.
Yes.
So as I said, it's so many different applications. Imagination and creativity, that's an answer.
Yes, and there are so many brains now, there are millions of brains thinking, finding new ideas. So this circularity concept is the key concept. So any kinds of crops. In the past, they were burning the farms after they receive it. They were
Yeah,
no, nothing is burned. Now everything is used. Because actually cellulose is a very common polymer in the environment. For example, in general, we don't eat them, we don't use them. There were
no.
general in the forms we were get. It was a waste for us. Now the concept change. There is nothing waste. Everything is a raw material. So this broke.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And as I said, there is so much waste, whether it's a natural or whether it's a plastic that's actually is available. What we're trying to do, kind of reduce the use of plastic, whereby we need to recycle plastic itself, well, because we don't
Yes.
want that to be put and mixed too much. At the moment, currently, so much we need to do something about it. However, what's going to happen in the future, I'm hoping in 10 years' time, then the only recycled thing, it will be a natural material, as you said, waste from
Definitely.
wood.
Yes.
Or
Yes.
so that's the way,
Yes.
because the circular story never ends. So it's just what we recycle.
Yes, actually, the most sad thing is about the ocean pollutions. That's very critical thing. One of the worst thing about environment, that Ellen MacArthur's saying that in 2050 there will be no plastics in the oceans than the fishes. When you hear it, it's shocking, but it's true.
Yeah.
So this polyester, polyamide, and we need to go to bio-based, and we need the innovations in chemistry. And I love this concept, imitating nature. and
Yeah,
this inspires when they imitate the nature what is done. They are making fibers by imitating spiders nets. So going on, there
absolutely.
are so many innovations, and that should be, because such materials can be also recyclable, and it's a circular material,
Yeah,
like a cradle to cradle principle. It can come to the starting point in the end. So these are good innovations, and these are making a very wide range of palettes in the
yeah,
material. And actually, now I think I see that the materialist people who are working in the materials, and envy them. It's a very, very nice job, really. Because material is everything, and now some people are making innovations, some scientists. I think if I start everything from the very, very beginning, I would be a material expert in that part of innovating materials. It is something nice because it is very,
biochemist.
yes, because now they are the ones, they are creating new materials and we are using them.
Yeah,
And I think H&M Foundations they make cotton in the laboratory, and
yeah.
it's something very precious. Maybe this is just they make only one cotton now, but maybe it will be future production. Who knows? So
Yeah,
it's
but that's you're absolutely right. And when you talk about, things that the nature, but for example, we have destroyed so much nature, whether directly or just as a consequences of our behavior. For example, we've seen the big fires in Australia, floods in whatever. But the interesting thing, what David Attenborough have said, we need to look into nature, and we do damage nature, but nature takes care of itself and repairs itself. But who's going to take care of humans and our behavior? We need to think about it, look into nature, and as you just said, just kind of like, look, this is your inspiration, work with it, not against it. So yes, it's as I said, I'm hoping the circular economy will be us recycling waste from nature, whatever that may be, making clothes, making houses, making all sorts of things, not just because that's how it used to be, as opposed to having said that, plastic has its place, but plastic needs to be treated in a certain manner, and in a responsible manner. That's what has happened here. We just kind of abused the
yes,
power of using a plastic, and the convenience. It just scares me, and we just walked into it, to be honest, because I'm not saying that I wasn't part of it, and I was. Did I take an extra plastic bag in a supermarket? Yeah, I did. Everyone did at the time. Nobody even thought about it.
yes,
Do I have extra plastic containers at home? I do. But then again, the important thing is, what do we do? I always say it's not about the mistakes, it's about what we're going to do about them. Let's just let's just move on and be
yes.
constructive.
Everything starts that I did a mistake. I was wrong. Then you change. Otherwise, I was correct from when I was baby. I did nothing wrong. It's the wrong perception. Yes, you
Yeah.
take your photographs. Oh, I was doing something wrong. Then you content. I definitely agree. It's a very, very important point. Now I want to talk about the aesthetics parts, really, and let's talk about something nicer about,
Yeah.
because like your designs. I saw maybe it's Aqua Rock. It reminds the navy colors, and I always see navies in your colors. And let's talk about how you are. What's the story of this new collection?
Well, obviously, I've been on a coast, kind of coastline, east coast of Scotland. We are surrounded with North Sea, and in particular colours, and it's always lots of winds and clouds, and sometimes it merging does give this a special sort of grey-blue colour that is kind of part of our life. With the word aqua, sort of nautical team was always kind of part of it, because there was kind of sort of connection with the rest of the world. So to me, that sort of navy blue, azure blue color, and with the gray, because obviously sun here is kind of comes at a particular angle. And colors have a certain shade. So when you go to more Mediterranean countries, it's amazing that colors obviously are much, much stronger, whereby the palettes here are slightly different, and that obviously is represented in our collection. Yeah. We try to use it. We try to use as natural color as we possibly can, but also we use as a natural material, and wherever natural vegetable dyes can give us. Because with them, you're never gonna get solid, deep colors as using chemicals, because the pigment is absorbed in a different way.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it, because in all those, the fabric that we use, they tend to absorb a pigment in different ways. And sometimes when you have tencels and whereby polyester and cotton is mixed, it's kind of tend to behave in a different way.
I see. And I think because you got this award about, the award you got from Pure Land, that Drapers gave you that award, and I think this caused an awareness, and you should be contacted through some material suppliers as well. Maybe they are coming to you to introduce their products, so it will be something changed. What changed? Yes,
yes, and that's nice, because that's how we learn as well. We find out about new producers, new techniques, new technology, new fabrics, and I mean that's how you communicate, because it's impossible to know everything. I'm learning something new every day. And various people contact me, and that's I mean, and designers and ideas, and you have to be open. You have to be open, and I'm always happy to learn, and just that's kind of a progress for me. You see, that's one collection. I'm happy to look at what's next. It's all this mental challenge. I think the creative brain, I'm sure quite a few designers or fashion designers, it never stops. It's just you keep going and going, because it's just that your brain feels inspired. There's something else over there, and that's nice. That's what excites me.
Yes, definitely. It's not ending, and every time, as we have spoken, new materials are coming onto the palette, and it's more. And we are, as we spoken in our previous call, every day I'm meeting with somebody new. It can be some different technology. It could be the technology as well, because the dyeing technology or 3D technologies, there are material technology, everything they are introducing. And I'm following so many things from LinkedIn, for example. And when I look at from 10 news about it, I see something very new for me and inspires me in the early morning. This is news. I make a reading about new material, new dyeing concept, or new technology. And the other part is the 3D technology is another part. It's coming, this sampling, but in the future, it's a kind of, some say it's dystopic. I don't say dystopic. I think it's the kind of, we are going to the digital life more and more and more. So it is good for you, for example, for the sampling stages. I think it will, when you make the samples, and now nearly exact matching are done with digital samples. So it is this 3D technology is another part of the sustainability, and it will help you as well. I mean, that any kind of technological developments helping to decrease the carbon print in the end. And now people are focusing on this, just to decrease the carbon print, and how they are making the materials, comparing with the others, and analyzing the life cycle and analyzing. They say this, now this is a better one, and go on. It's something exciting.
But that's you're absolutely right. Us as a brand, we obviously with coronavirus and the launches, we couldn't follow the traditional kind of supply chain to a consumer going. So we had to rely a lot on technology. We had to present our collection in a sort of new way. Obviously, I had to look at new platforms, and more companies are coming every day. We've been receiving emails and people contacting us, would you like to join them, present that on the different platforms. And I don't know, it's just an exciting time in that sense, because I think the fashion industry and the retail industry will change after this. How different it's going to be. They're going to be winners and they're going to be losers. There are so many different products. Not all of them will work, but that's fine. That's kind of how it works. And we're trying, at the moment, we're on a kind of like 4 different platforms. We launched our collection, and they're all quite different in the different parts of the world. And it's a kind of, for every single one, we have to adapt and we have to adjust. It's almost although there are platforms they communicate with the whole world, you have to kind of go and find your way. What will be the best way for this particular platform to show your collection? And that's an exciting time. It's the same sort of, or similar, because you see what the technology allows you to do it. It's kind of like addressing your window shop in just a different way. You do need quite a good technical skills, I have to say. Having said that, again, it's exciting, but different. And when we're talking about one of the part of the sustainability, as we touched in our previous conversation, it's about smaller production lines. MOQs, a very painful word for young designer. We're just kind of working with the smaller studios, and we just produce but constantly replenish stock. That way I don't get waste. I was just thinking, we've just sold a certain interior collection. I'm starting to panic. I actually sold my old stock. I need to replenish, which is a nice place to be in. But having said that, I don't sit on a big stock. I don't need the big warehouses. I don't need any of those things. It's all kind of more sort of sustainable. And you don't need to overproduce or take financial risk, because sustainable brands, because most of them are new, they all kind of worry about financial side of it, because you need to make money in the end of the day so you can continue. So everyone has the same problem. So I always said, manage your costs, be very, very careful. We'll move one step at a time. And I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy,
Yes.
and just keep driving forward. Don't give up. Just keep driving forward. That's kind of it worked for us.
Actually, we had already spoken the challenges of, especially being a startup, and there are so many things that you have some burdens. You have some economical. It's not financial. It's also hard. You mentioned about it. So really, you need to. And one thing that I would ask in the last and previous conversation, it's about, every brand decides the. But like I want to say something. We will have the question and answers, and there is QA. You can send your questions so that we can answer in the end. So my questions: do you know your customer profile? How is this? Who will buy it from Aqua Rock? Have you ever thought about it? What sort of people will go on order your beautiful designs?
I've got a story for that. What I thought is my customer. When I started, well, I'd say a year and a half ago, I was positioning my brand into women, mainly women. I thought it's going to be 40 to 65 women with disposable income, because sustainable fashion is not cheap. And we designed collection in that way, and this is kind of was my focus. And then we did some tests and did some runs to see what sort of who will reply, who would kind of take an interest, who would be the profile customer. These are very, very early days. Okay, we haven't launched the brand, no, we're talking about.
Yes.
And then it turned out completely the opposite. More younger generation came back to us. And it was really nice, actually. I said, do you know what? The future is looking to sustainability, the young people, young generation. And I said, do you know what? I think I'm on the right track, because young people and future is with me. And that's, I think, that kind of gave me reassurance since I'm on the right track. So I had to adjust a few things in terms of style, as my teenagers' daughters kind of thinks they were on above 21 is old. And I was like, okay, I need to start looking into clothing that or styles that could be kind of worn by the mother and a daughter. So suddenly we're starting to realize that it's still predominantly women. Women tend to be more conscious about the environment than men in general, but that's changing as well. No doubt about that. So we are focusing on launching for men in the future. Yes, I would kind of say, in particular with the coronavirus, that conscious fashion, it's becoming more sort of a new normal. And that's what I'm hoping for, that, let's say I'm hoping in 2 or 3 years' time, we're not going to have to talk about sustainability, that's going to be a new normal. That's just That's who
Yes,
you are.
I definitely agree. Maybe we should forget this sustainability word in next decades. It should be the normal. Definitely, it's a
Yes,
very good point. I like
yeah.
this. I like this point of view. So I think we could get. I could look if there is questions, and I will start because there was an already question. I remember the when it in our last conversation. It's some ask that when the company startups says that I'm doing sustainable fashion, is there any support from government, something like that? There was such a
Yes,
question.
yes, we did get some support from the government. You can get, it depends what you're looking for. There is transmitters in here in UK. You've got a transmitters where you can actually get a government loan. We got £17,000 to start. When I'm literally from zero, we got £17,000, and I, as the director, didn't even have to put a personal guarantee, which is a huge relief for somebody who is starting. That grant, it was on a basis of my business plan. I wanted to create a fashionable, sustainable brand. That was quite, at the time, unique. I wouldn't say unique proposition, but there were not very many of them. So within, what was it, just over a week, I got approved and money was in the account within 2 days. So with that, I could actually start doing research, what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. Then local councils across UK, some has more, some has less money. There are so many smaller grants, like a £5,000 Take Me to a Market, whereby they will give you money if you want to go to shows like a Pure London. So you just need to dig into it. And usually if you have a good proposal, the money is available there, and particularly now in sustainable. And we're looking at things at the grants all the time. So, yes, I mean, and that could be simple things to help you to design the website, which I actually got. These are smaller grants to obviously your first stock, to take you to a trade show. You can get, you go to gateway businesses. I mean, Scotland's slightly different than England, but in essence, they may be just a different names, but in the essence, they're there to produce. Then they have a grants for women entrepreneurs, and it's all sorts of things, but there's certainly available. It's a bit of a hard work in terms of, because there are quite many, and you need to kind of rummage through which one's relevant to your business. Having said that, with a decent business plan, they tend to come through quite quickly, which is nice. That's what you need, because startup business needs to move fast.
I see, I see. And I saw a question actually, which we replied in the very beginning of it said, which material you use most and which material is the most sustainable? This was the question that I asked
Yeah.
about your collection, but let's remind as a
No, I'm
reminder.
happy to answer.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, in my personal view, for whatever it's worth, in all the research we've used, linen. Linen is the most sustainable material for a number of reasons. Linen used to be pretty much in Europe, in particular, not so much maybe in Middle Eastern countries or sort of China, but in Europe, linen, all clothing used to be made out of linen for normal people, average kind of. The reason for that is because it's easy to grow. It's kind of almost like a weed, so it doesn't need a lot of attention. Uses very little water and absorbs CO2. So linen is the most sustainable, I would say, in terms of fabric to be used. Then cotton pushed linen out of marketing, particularly cotton growers in America. Their big lobby campaign pushed linen outside, and linen became suddenly just a sort of a fabric you would wear in summer. And I've heard some funny comments. Somebody said to me the other day, linen used to look, but technology again have changed so much, how it's treated, that, if I wear linen, it feels like I'm wearing a crisp bag, because linen tend to wrinkle a lot. Having said that, we are now producing beautiful linen blazers, and we are blending them with organic cotton, and technology and times have changed. Yeah, we do use a lot of linen, and then we started to use Cool Pro, waste fabric, wooden chips, viscose. So yes, and we're trying to blend. Also, we've just blended linen and wool together to
I
make
see,
it
I
thicker for a
see.
winter. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So hemp, yeah. Somebody's asking. I can see that. Yeah,
yes, yes.
absolutely. Excellent plant. Excellent.
Yes.
I would definitely. Yes, yes, absolutely. So hemp tend to be more used in terms of interior, and it tend to be used more kind of like a bags, but it's growing definitely in the fashion industry. So yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, I read so much about hemp fiber as well, and I become a
Yeah.
hemp fan as
Fan,
well
yeah,
because
yeah, me too. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah,
The more
yeah.
you read about the fiber, it's surprisingly you learn so many things.
So
First,
much, yeah.
yes, about its absorption, the radiation, and it's giving oxygen to the.
Absolutely.
There's so many things, and it's very durable, very
Yes.
durable. And the thing that both linens and hemp's challenge was about their hand feel, because that was the reason. But now it's being improved, and some says when hemp and linen have the same softness that cotton has,
Yeah.
then they will take the role of cotton. They might, because it can much easily cultivated, and the production is, I think, 4 times more in the same time you can produce hemp. I mean, the production amount in the same time. So it's because it's very fastly growing plant, no herbicide,
Yes,
no
it is.
pesticide.
Yeah. And
There
it's
are
like just
so
getting a
many things.
haircut. Yeah, it's just like getting a haircut. You don't need to have a harvest,
Yes.
which is again a positive. Um, the only problem you have at the moment with the hemp, I'd like to use more, and hopefully I will do. All of us, the industry, not just me, not just us. Um, um, uh, we need to make yarn so we can make fabrics. We need to do coloring. We need to do designs. That's currently not available, so widely available on the market. But I'm hoping 6 to 9 months we can have a completely different conversation whereby that will kind of been introduced for young designers, because young designers can only kind of outsource material that is kind of available to them and they can find. To go and travel and find the different fabrications, for us to begin with, we didn't do, but now we are more established. We're kind of looking further afield in terms of what other fabrics and material we can look, and we get more options. The life becomes easier. That is certainly the case. But when you look at the current fabric market for young designers, it's still pretty much the old fast fashion production. It's changing in terms of percentage. I would say at the moment you can probably just get a 10% here in UK or in Europe, but it's changing. The percentage is growing, and I'm hoping it will be replaced eventually. Yeah.
Yes. And for, I think, about the question that which is the most sustainable, I will add something to, as you had mentioned, longevity is the very important
Yeah.
parameter. So if it's a product is not at high quality, if it will
Yeah.
not be worn for a long time, whatever it is made of, it's not sustainable. Well, if
Yeah.
some product run, even that is not, if it's used a short time, then it becomes wasted. No, it should be a long life, a long quality life, then it is sustainable. And this is the biggest contradiction of the economy, I think, because, the the economy is built on always production consuming, and
Yeah.
this is how. And even
Spending.
I think that yes, even the politically, even the populations increased for this. Now more people production, but now we see that the things cannot continue like this.
No.
We cannot produce consume. It's not that. So we must make long term, and the background, how the political life will be, it's not beyond our area. It is something a more philosophical questions,
Yeah.
because when we have a slow economy, long lasting, this is something, because there, there is the economical background of it. How will be the employment situation is something, is another criteria, but this is the very big picture of that governments should take care of. It's very important, because when we go to the times of we have sustainable materials which has long life, very long life, so we need to decrease the production speed. And because now people are increasing the production speed, and with huge, too many workers in the fashion industry, and fashion industry, is, if I'm not wrong, still involves the most number of the workers because it is still not automated. Because of the fabric's structure, you cannot automate, you cannot make robots that make t-shirts or pants. Actually, this is already, even this is done. I saw that robots making t-shirts, this is done, but still not in the platform, not on the stage. But this will come. But when the times come that the automation in fashion industry, think of it, the consequences, it's not easy to estimate really, because suppose because so many workers in this industry, and this will be an unemployment. This is another topic to discuss. Really.
But the way I see it, at the moment, workers in the fast fashion, they're pushed to produce very, very fast a lot of garment, and that's kind of the speed is of an essence and the skill. When we do produce I said yes, we produce less, but the workers itself actually work slower, takes care what they do, so they spend the same amount of hours, but for the less garment, hence the quality. So it's the same thing applies. The cotton, the better quality, long fiber cotton, whereas a short fiber, that all reflects in the quality. So what I'm hoping for, where we're looking like a hydro cotton, high quality, long fiber that we're going to use in the future, that will give you much better quality of t-shirt, tops and dresses, as well as obviously the worker who still works and gets the same amount of money, not for how many cheap items they produce. As I said, you just need to look at things in a different way.
Definitely, I definitely agree. Now, for example, sometimes I think about when I started, after I graduated from university, started working in the manufacturers, in the delivery times, there was always overtiming, working at late times, and the workers are always overtiming at late hours they were working. When I'm concerned, what they produced maybe are burnt or they are landfilled now because they didn't. That is making us sad. People gave their life whole day. They spent their lives in this factory, but what they produced, what they spent their life is landfilled. This definitely should done.
I know, and it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. That's what I say. It's invest in the garment, look at the quality, look at the longevity of it. How it's produced, because it's all kind of it's connected. It's absolutely connected. I know sometimes going and paying, I don't know, 3 times what you could maybe get in the shop, like a I don't know, Primark or whatever, but do you know what? I haven't, all the garments, it's just kind of becomes really, really, it's all the same. You're just kind of turning and shopping. You're actually not even wearing properly that clothes. It's just become literally some sort of disposable item. And that's not what fashion's about. Fashion's not about disposable items. Fashion is about style. It's about beautiful things, and that's what it should be.
Definitely, we should give the good reputation of fashion again, because it's always had bad reputation. By the way, we have only 1 minute left about time. I'm just checking if we have other questions. I asked some of the questions, so you can. So I think that's all, and to our listeners and it was a very, very informative speech again. Thanks for joining us. I really like the time that you spent with us. Thanks a lot for it. So I think, okay, where do you get the best for, let's take this last question. Where do you get the best for raw materials? What sources or which country? Where do you get?
Okay. Yes, we use waste material. There is a plant in Spain. They produce yarn from recycled plastic, and they blend recycled denim. And there is a factory you can order a yarn, and if anyone wants, can contact us directly. I'm quite happy to share information. We use Turkey, because Turkey is now becoming as one of the big recycling plants. Because UK, I don't know whether that's politically correct, but UK exports a lot of recycled material to Turkey, and Turkey has invested into big recycling plants, or is investing still. So that's kind of sort of working out for both sides quite well. So this is where we outsource. So Turkey's got quite a lot, and Turkey actually now has a really good fabric supplier with a beautiful, from beautiful recycled material, including viscose or they have some plastic as well, and tencel, yeah, and they're all registered and certified either with European certifications, vegan, so it's all European certifications. Spain is another. Spain received from European Community big grants, in particularly in Andalusia. There's quite a few number of factories there recycling you can get, and they can sometimes make, if you have a nice, not too big, but nice quantities, they can make things specially for you. So there are quite a few, and Italy has Italy's another one. So Italy, Spain, and Turkey at the moment are the leaders in sourcing sustainable material.
Okay.
For us.
Thanks for this informative reply again. So I think that's okay. We even passed the time that we had agreed. So thanks for everybody for joining. Really, thanks to he joined 2 times. I really appreciate that you spare our time with us. We learned so many things from you, and we wish you best luck in your new collection. I will try to online visit your stands. Yes, really. I
hope so.
Yes.
Feel free to spend money.
Okay.
Okay. But thank you. Anyway, it was a pleasure, and thanks for everyone who's watching. And as I said, if anyone wants to contact us, feel free if we can help, because that's the only way forward, if we share and support each other, because we partner with other companies and similar. And yes, this is not about competition, it's about better life, better future.
Definitely agree. So take care.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Goodbye.